There was one dude. Okay, so you have this like sequence where there are various internet personalities on skyscrapers and stuff, and so I always hate this shit. How can you like adjust me so like I'm in the middle? Like I have OCD when it comes to aesthetics, and I'm gonna be. Never mind. There we go. I took care of it. All right. So yeah. So okay, so is one of those people Egghead?
Yeah, everyone always asks about why Egghead's in there.
Well, no, it's just funny because like I mean like Egghead has
the Bible.
He looks like he's in a stoner metal band now, or I saw a very small. Well, it was really only like this big on this server that we're working through. Like your audience probably saw it better than I did. But he was wearing like a beanie hat, and he's got like a scraggly beard.
Yeah, I can kind of see what you mean. He looks
way more. I don't know. Like I don't want to disparage the guy, but
even though you just did,
it kind of has a connotation with most people's heads of being like a wuss. So yeah, he looked significant. He looked a little bit more like, I'm not saying I was afraid of the guy, but he looked a little bit more like somebody who might be capable of putting up a fight or kicking your ass or something.
What?
Maybe Joshua Bonehill.
With the beard, and I don't know. He used to like look a lot more innocent than that.
He did. He used to be a lot younger though. Keep in mind when he was first sending in shit to DP, he was that was like 4 or 5 years ago. He was probably
I'm 24 now.
So yeah, actually, let me do the math. He was like 19, 18, maybe 17 when he was sending in those videos.
It's kind of funny because he used to write me a lot, and I would feel sorry for the guy because he got a lot of shit, and then there was that whole kind of, I even forget what it was about, but there was some debacle where both what the fuck is that crazy Australian girl's name?
I don't know what you're talking about now.
God,
Beyond Fear. Beyond Fear.
But Beyond Fear and what's his another guy who is not necessarily crazy but incredibly eccentric. Galen.
Oh yeah.
There was one dude. There was one time where they just went fucking to town on the guy, and I mean, I think literally reduced him to tears. Like it sounded like he was crying on. And anyway,
they did. They scrambled him. him.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, he used to write me because, like, I don't know. I'm usually like pretty. Even though that I can kind of dish it out here and there, like I'm usually pretty like sympathetic to those who are bullied online, who
I can tell
deserve it.
But he brought it on himself in that case. I just want to say that.
Yeah, he did. Although I don't remember all the details. I don't think he deserved quite as much of the shit as he got. Like I feel like he was very like apologetic about it all, and like. What happens 99% of the time on the internet, people don't give a fuck and they'll just hate you for nearly
For the sake of it. Yeah, it's true.
But my point is that like the funny thing is that he used to write me for like a little bit of moral support and say like, oh man, you're so nice, blah blah blah. And then there was this time where Kraut & T made this video where I was accused of, and I guess it's sort of true. I mean, not really, but like I have a lot of left-wing tendencies. Sure. So I was outed as a dreaded SJW, and from that moment on, I never heard from the guy. So like I became too uncool for Egghead.
Oh yeah. Honestly, yeah. I know what you're talking about. Because I think Egghead does get too much shit. But if he catches wind that someone else like is getting shit, then he'll try and capitalize on it by trying to make fun of them too. So he's not immune to criticism.
I never saw him making fun of me. I wouldn't give a shit if he did. But even if it was like really scathing, like in a way, I would be kind of like, "What, dude? I was so nice to you." But at the same time, I would just like not care because it's that guy.
Yeah. I'm not saying he did that to you. I'm just saying that I've known Egghead to do that type of shit before.
Well, the same thing happened with another friend of yours. Well, not the same thing, but something close.
Another egg-based person. Yeah.
No. AIDS Dank, I believe.
Yeah. Yep, that's it.
That guy hates my guts. And
why? I mean, he keeps asking me.
Unless I'm mixing up his name with
no, else. That's him.
That's him, right? Yeah, he hates my guts. He hates me because for same thing for like a long time. Like he would write me, and he would be like, he was very young at the time. I think he was around 13, 14, and and he was picked on a lot. And I just tried to offer a little bit of moral support and kind of, told them like I wasn't really picked on at 13, 14, but when I was younger, I started school a year earlier than most kids.
Sure.
So I was always in front. And when I was in public school, like I know what it's like to be bullied basically. And around 13, 14 was around the time that I really started kind of like not being bullied and kind of being a cool kid. I don't want to sound like an asshole, but like the school that I went to, I like kind of was in decent social standing, but always kind of had an affinity for nerds. But anyway, my fucking point is that with that AIDS dude, I don't know what else. I mean, he went by AIDS Dank. So
I know, it's true.
I guess I could call him Mr. Dank. But like basically like he wrote me a lot, and it was at the point where like I was never rude to him, but like he took up a decent amount of my time compared to how well I knew him. And then there was this like there was this point where I guess it was after I was outed as an SJW and all of that. And I was speaking on like behalf of trans issues, and he and a few other friends of his just really felt very differently about the matter. And it was they
do.
Yeah, and it was a matter that I had researched pretty well. I mean, I think we were talking about oh god, I won't go into it. It doesn't really fucking matter. But basically, like, the guy just was a total asshole to me, and he was doing it, I think, mostly to impress his friends. And so, like, he out of like basically it was like him and like 3 or 4 other people, and they were all kind of shit talking me on Twitter, and
I remember that.
Like,
I remember that.
And I, I was refuting things that they were saying, but they were fucking idiots, so they weren't like taking a look at peer-reviewed science and shit like that. And the guy was just being such a dick that I eventually just like I believe that I blocked him, and then he got really pissed off that I blocked him.
Yeah, he was like hashtag blocked by Vadim.
Yeah, and I really did it just more because he was being such a pissy kid, you know, and I just felt like, dude, I put all this time into kind of giving you moral support, and there's been no, like, this is the first discussion that we've had since a discussion like that, and all of a sudden you're just going to be like this total asshole to me.
Little did you know, Vadim, that kid grew up to be Jimmy Dore. Believe it.
It's all
Actually, I think we should get into that, because why not? That's a good segue.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to. Maybe that was.
I will say one thing real quick though
for your viewers
about that AIDS guy. That AIDS guy, he ever since we started this show, Underhaven, and we had you on, Vadim, on like episode 3 or whatever, he's been asking me like, I just want to have a discussion with Vadim. I want to talk to Vadim.
Really?
I want to talk to Vadim. Yeah.
With him, I don't think that would go very well for him, but I'd be happy.
Okay.
To have a discussion
yeah,
with
if you're
him.
up for it, we could arrange that. That'd be cool.
Yeah, we'll arrange that. Cool. All right. Sure.
All right. Cool. So, Jimmy Dore. How did
that
go?
Okay, well, do you guys mind if I talk for a little bit about this? Because
go ahead.
There's a lot of kind of...
Give me a take, man.
In order to give a full... So for those of you who don't know, I mean, your watchers recently, it was just a few days ago, I was a guest along with Jimmy Dore, who is a TYT correspondent and has his own channel and is... pretty far left. I mean, I would say that in a lot of ways we're very similar, but we had a conversation. So that's why they asked me about Jimmy. And before I go into the discussion that we had, I want to say that the whole thing was a little weird because Jimmy is someone who, you know, I actually like the Young Turks. A lot of people fucking hate them. But sure. I certainly, you know, there's certain criticisms with them that I totally am on board for. And yet at the same time, I think that there's a lot of really good things about them. So I do like them a lot overall. And over the years, I would say probably about 3 years ago, I would have considered myself like a Jimmy Dore fan. But over the course, in my opinion, over the course of the past 3-ish years or so, really within the last year of or like the last few months, certainly, of the election cycle, the 2016 election cycle, he really, in my opinion, and not just my opinion, but like there are a lot
of people agree.
Yeah, there are a lot of YouTube pundits out there. David Pakman, Sam Cedar, I think even to a certain extent, even though he considers him a friend, Kyle Kalinske.
A little bit.
Brooks. There are a lot of people who have remarked about Benjamin Dixon. I mean, I don't know if you guys are even familiar with all of these people, but
I know a few of them.
They've all remarked about how he's kind of, to a certain extent, gone off the deep end. So it was a little weird having an argument, which I didn't expect to be an argument with him.
Neither did I.
Because I do, in spite of the fact that I have problems with the guy, I have in the past been a total fan. And even though that I don't consider myself a total fan now, I still like, there are times when I hear him say things that I think are totally spot on, and that I still every now and then am inspired by shit that he says. And then I have the memory of other times where he's said things that I was just like, yeah, you know, so I had this conversation with this guy who I sort of have problems with, yet at the same time, like at a certain point was certainly a fan of, you know?
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say that I am like Jimmy Dore totally sucks. You know, like I'm not going to go that far. Although I do kind of think that these days he's more of a, how can I put it? He's gotten a little toxic. I don't think he's as productive for his side as like I think his kind of minuses outweigh his pluses. That's a really inarticulate.
I would definitely say he's a lot more different when it comes to point of view than most people on TY. He's definitely a lot more. I don't even know if I'd say more radical. His differences are kind of.
Well. See, the thing is that if you look at the policies and you look at the politicians, most of the politicians that he endorses, it's pretty much the exact same with the majority of the TYT correspondents, or just the people that they have there. I don't know if you call them correspondents, anchor people, whatever. And same thing with me, like policy wise. I'm not that crazy about Jill Stein, but maybe I would have voted for her if I was voting in a swing state. Because there were some good things about her platform. There were other things that I wasn't crazy about, but
she's far from perfect.
There were a lot of ways that she was more progressive than certainly Hillary Clinton,
or even Bernie.
What? Or
even Bernie to some.
Yeah, to a certain degree. I mean, I think Bernie had like she also had elements of her platform that I'm not on board for. Like she happens to she's anti-GMO. And
I hate that shit. Yeah,
and she's anti-GMO because she's uneducated and she thinks that it's just poisonous. So and then her VP pick. I mean, I'm not going to spend much time on her, but her VP pick is a 9/11 truther.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he is. He doesn't really like to speak about that much. But speaking of 9/11 truther, well, we'll get into this a bit more later. I did not know this before talking with Jimmy, but Jimmy is kind of a 9/11 truther.
Fucking really? Wait.
Yeah. And,
how so?
He said things that are pretty explicit. Like he will put it, because of the fact that he doesn't want the label truther. He says that he's not a truther, but he believes that Building 7 was taken out in a demolition, which definitely qualifies as truther in my book. He says he won't speculate as to who did it, but he doesn't. I think as recently as 2015 or 2014. I mean, he's talked this stuff numerous times over the course of the past few years, and he did most of it around 2009, 2010. But he's continued to say it, and it's not just offhanded comments. It's like he'll go into but buildings just don't fall down by themselves, and Building 7 wasn't hit by anything. No,
maybe if a fucking plane flies into it, it'll fall down. I don't know.
The thing that blindsided me the most about Jimmy is that I wasn't expecting him. He actually advocates for legit revolution.
Yeah. Well, okay, we're gonna get into that in a second. Okay. So just to finish up, I mean, we'll come back to the 9/11 stuff because I think that it's pertinent, but I'll just finish up for now talking about it, which is that he's vastly uninformed on Building 7. He says that nothing hit Building 7, and this is a common truther bullshitism. Just let's pretend that's a word.
Bullshitism. Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is, for those of you who don't know, it was hit by a shit ton, literally, maybe not literally a shit ton, but tons of debris from one of the two skyscrapers. I forget if it's Building 1 or Building 2. like the debris just decimated it and started all these fires. And you know, I could get into kind of like, you know, why the architecture of it was a little you know, not perfect, but it doesn't.
I don't think we have many truthers in our audience yet.
So. Yeah.
But I mean, like the sheer fucking velocity of an aircraft flying into a building—that's insane. Like,
yeah.
To dismiss it as if it's like nothing or like very benign in nature. I mean, like it's not. It's a huge.
What are you talking about, SWEGTA? It happens all the time, right?
Well, in terms of the Tower 1 and Tower 2, we'll move on in a second because this is going to be like I'm kind of like a nerd when it comes to this stuff.
9/11.
When it comes to building 1 and
9/11 con.
Yes. The you know, just having a building fly into it had a little bit to do with them falling down. But what happened is that there was this fireproofing that was. It's sort of like this foam that is sprayed onto beams and stuff. And what happened was that the force of the plane going into the Twin Towers was stripped from like, you know, huge massive areas of the like ceilings and whatnot. And so basically, like, it decimated the fireproofing, making it even more vulnerable to, like, had they had like a different system of fireproofing, possibly it would have stayed up. And that's something that they just did not account for. And the last thing I want to say about that, this is really going to be boring some of your audience, but a lot of people don't take this into account, which is that it did withstand, like they stood up for about 2 hours, 90 minutes or more a piece. So, you know, they did withstand like the initial impact, and then they went. But anyway, let's talk more about Jimmy, okay? So we talked, and I would say like the first half hour, like maybe like it was around the 35-40 minute mark, we were getting along pretty well. And it was all just like, you know, giggles. And I the most that I enjoyed was talking we exchanged some really gross stories about like just puking and shitting oneself. And I told a story about an ex-girlfriend who sharded herself in front of me.
Okay, wait, how's this play into Jimmy Dore again?
Well, I'm just this was part of the conversation that I had with Jimmy and.
Oh yeah, you guys were talking about farts at first. And shit.
Right. Very classy stuff. Yeah. But it was funny, you know, like and it was fun to tell a few stories that really seemed to crack him up, because I think he's very funny, and regardless of my thoughts on him. So anyway, so then like at a certain point, I did know that I wanted to not like I didn't want to have a fight with him. I didn't want to have a full-fledged like heated argument with him. But at the same time, I do have these sort of problems with or you know, just I want to know more about his point of view, certainly.
Yeah, here's the thing. Like I was expecting when I booked you so that you could go on that show with him, I was expecting, okay, you know, these two have similar enough politics. They'll disagree a couple times while they're watching stories, and that'll probably be it. They'll, you know, have a few disagreements, and that'll be it. Other than that, they'll probably get along well. And it's not like you guys, you know, were at each other's throats necessarily. I think that you both were pretty respectful to each other. But
well, I think that's because like basically what happened was this, you know, I asked him one question, which had to do with, you know, I'd heard that he had recently said that he was giving up the Democratic Party altogether, and that he decided that in, you know, that the progressives had to break off and start their own third party, that's the only way that we could get any meaningful change, which sounds great, you know, like on paper, but there's this little fucking thing called reality.
Yeah.
And I don't think that it's, you know, his ideas are very tethered to reality. So I asked him about that, and I asked him about it in a very casual and I think respectful way. Like, you know, there wasn't any snark.
Sure. I wouldn't say there's any question about that.
And so, you know, you gave me about 2 hours to think about being on, and it's fine. Like I realized with you know, with booking and whatnot, a lot of things can happen, you know, so I'm not saying like you asshole, you only gave me 2 hours. I was very thankful to be on, period.
Yeah.
But I really did not, like half of that time I was making dinner and running errands and stuff. And so I really didn't have time to think about, like, you know, if I did get into a debate, exactly like what to say and how to handle it. And
sure, I probably should have considered that too, because my mind did not even go to the corner that you guys would get into, like a long form, like kind of back and forth. It wasn't really even a formal debate because...
Well, see, neither did I. But then afterwards, in retrospect, I thought about it and I was like, you know, I don't know why, because I guess I should say to your viewers, immediately when I asked this question, like we had just been, up until this point, everyone was just kind of talking normally, just, you know, like one usually does on Drunken Peasants, unless, you know, like it's like some sort of like
formal debate or something,
like debate or some moment where people get pissed off at each other. But for the most part, things are pretty chill on that show, and so immediately the guy goes up to 11, and I don't know in retrospect why I expected anything different, because that is Jimmy. Jimmy is always like when he is discussing things with TYT people and things get the least bit heated, he just explodes and he has all this fucking passion. And even when he's on his own show and he's doing videos alone, he's often like at an 11 or higher. So it was just fucking funny, because, like, you know, he starts talking, he goes into Dore mode.
Dore mode.
Yeah.
No, I know what you mean. I know.
There are all these sort of, like, I mean, if you watch his videos, you could probably hear him saying variations of the exact same thing he was saying to me. Like, you know, I feel like he has a lot of kind of like just talking points that he just recycles, and that's not to say that he doesn't genuinely believe them and whatnot.
So he's an NPC then. Fuck him.
He's an NPC, yeah.
Right. Well, people were calling me an NPC. Even
every person in existence is technically an NPC when you think about it. Non-playable character. What the fuck do you expect?
True. And also, I remember there was a certain point where both Billy and oh god, why am I
Ben?
Yes, Ben, of course. Like I think they literally said, like, as I was criticizing Trump, they said, like, Orange Man bad. You know what? Orange Man is bad. That's
yeah.
So like, so yeah, you know, so we immediately got into this situation where it like I felt like I was not really arguing with him, but he was so heated. And then also I think Ben and Billy, they like to, I think they'll just take the side of whoever is the combination of the most popular, and certainly Dore is 10 times more popular than me, at least. Sure. And also the most boisterous. So they were taking his side, even though it's so fucking funny to me. And it's like, I know that there are some viewers on Drunken Peasants who are smart people.
Oh,
but
definitely.
I'm sorry, like 80% of that audience are fucking idiots.
Well, all right. Here's the thing, Vadim. Here's what I'll say. What you see in the chat what you see in the chat, especially when the show is live.
Not necessarily indicative of the.
It's not. It's a vocal.
Okay.
It's a very vocal amount of people who have very strong opinion, who are very strongly opinionated. But there's honestly a lot of diversity in the DP audience when it comes to ideas and opinions.
Good. If you look at YouTube metrics, a very small percentage of the views you get consist of people who do anything beyond just watching the video.
Just viewing it. It's true. It's true. It is true.
Right. Well, then I'll amend that to say that 95% of the people in the chat are fucking.
Okay. I'm not going to disagree with you on that. So
yeah. And what's really hysterical, and I think it goes to show you just how persuasive, just very loud and confident, bold people can be, because every single time, with the exception of this one time that I have been on Drunken Peasants, what I'm getting called, and I have less of a problem with this than what I got called during the Dore thing. I always get called like a left-wing beta cuck, or like a radical commie or shit like that. And of course, I don't think I'm those things, but yes, I do have pretty progressive left-wing politics.
Sure.
And I got all of these people saying like Vadim's just a Hillary shill, and Vadim's a neoliberal centrist, and it's just like, what? Who the fuck are you people? You've been saying like,
they're people who buy into political tribalism. That's what they are.
I find it funny that I feel like your conversation with V was a lot more civil in some ways than with Jimmy.
Yeah, no, it was. I mean, I think there were like more reasons for that.
Sure.
You know, I mean, like honestly, like I think I made, from memory, I think I made some decent points with Dore.
Yeah.
But I wish I had been, I feel like I was a little too timid, you know, or maybe way too timid. And part of that was because even though that there was a debate element with V, you know, Dusty was there, and I would say that because there was a little bit of an element of it being 3-on-1, even though that the DP guys weren't totally chiming in, but when they were chiming in, it was very obvious that they were, if they said anything that like either swung one way or the other, it swung Jimmy's way.
Yeah. You know? Sure. I agree with what you have.
Yeah. And so, you know, I'm still relatively new to kind of debating politics and debating in general, and it's something that I want to get better at.
Okay, but here's the thing I feel like you should have kept in mind. Like, if you're gonna take on a showman, you better put on a way better show. Like, that's really it. It doesn't matter, like, how fucking right you are. As long as you put on a better show and convince people that you are more likable, you're gonna win. In their eyes.
I agree with you. I agree with you. And see, look, I'll tell you like a few things that you know, like why I think I kind of, I mean, maybe you could look at it like I blew it, or I did not do as good a job, nearly as good a job as I could have. The first reason was that, and the reason why I brought up like the whole debate thing, is that recently, you know, I debated at MythCon, and I feel like at MythCon I did a pretty good job. But
yeah, and you had a lot of people against you at MythCon too. So
yeah, I basically had like 400 people.
Yeah,
because I had the moderator was not that. He was clearly you know, he wasn't as aggro as the rest of them, but then I had the three of them who were staunchly against a lot of things that I said, and then there was the audience, which acted like a bunch of fucking like moronic wrestling.
When it comes to this, I don't want to say the word community, but when it comes to this community, like, you know, people around this sphere, whoever yells the loudest gets the most enthusiasm behind them. It doesn't necessarily matter the content of what you say. It's how passionate you are when you say it. That's why I think a lot of people connected with what Jimmy had to say, not even because of necessarily what he had to say, but with how he said it.
Absolutely. But see, what happened is like, you see, the reason why I'm bringing up MythCon is because at MythCon, even though that I kind of stood up for myself, and there were times where I was assertive, I wanted to go more the jugular, than I did. However, I knew the audience that I was playing to, and it was this live situation. And I knew that for me, I mean, I think that Jacqueline or anyone else except for me, because I held the minority view, I think could have gotten away with getting more passionate,
aggressive. Yeah.
But I felt like if I did that, if I a lot of it just would have been construed as like low blows, and
that's true.
So I kind of did the same, like a similar analysis of things on DP. However, in the moment, however, I didn't stop to think like, this is a completely different arena. This is the internet. Like the person that I'm talking to is way different. And I thought in the moment that it was better to kind of like hang back, like, because I thought to myself, well, what am I going to do? Am I going to like try and shout Jimmy Dore? Jimmy Dore, like that's what he does.
Yeah, that's what he does for a living, basically.
However, I really do think there were a couple of things that I think that if I had thrown them in there, there are three things that I wish I had said, and I think I could have come in.
One of them was Alex Jones, right?
Well, I mean, what do you mean by that?
How he spat on Alex Jones? I think I remember you said.
Well, actually, to tell you the truth, like I'm one of the few people that
no
have a problem with that.
We did have a discussion about this way back.
Yeah.
We talked about it afterwards on DP after Jimmy left, and I actually it's not like I like look up to him and I'm like, oh, he's great, he spat on out. I kind of feel like I don't have a fucking problem with it. I mean, maybe it's because I feel like Alex Jones.
My problem with it is that it's kind of fucking disgusting, but that's about it.
I agree. In all fairness, though, Jimmy later he did come to the defense of Alex Jones by saying that he shouldn't be banned off social media platforms. I'm pretty sure.
Right. Well, I disagree with him on that, and I wish. I wish.
Funny how that works.
That was something that I let slide by my reaction to that. I do disagree with that because although I am sympathetic, like I'm totally free speech at the same time, I feel like, that there are clear rules that should be abided by on YouTube, and the guy kind of evaded them for a very long time and did some really horrendous shit. So there are some people who think that these things should be turned into kind of
public
government
utilities. No, fuck that.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's just as problematic, if not worse. I don't want the government in charge of these things. I don't see any reason why they're going to do a better job.
I feel like when people advocate for that, they think about it as the solution to their problem. They don't think about all the other problems that it would cause to have Twitter and Facebook and all this shit be directly regulated by the government. Like, are you fucking insane? Yeah. Do you know what precedent you're setting here? That means that if any fucking company, the U.S. doesn't like how they do their business, they can just take it over. Is that the kind of future that people want for the USA?
Yeah. It's exactly why I think it wouldn't be the Republicans always complain about how supposedly the right are constantly kicked off of these platforms, and maybe they are kicked off of these platforms at a higher rate than left-wingers. But I would argue that that's because most of the time they actually say things that are against the terms of service more often than left-wingers, because
I would say that's true. Yeah, it is true.
But anyway, back to Jimmy. So yeah, it would have been better if I had kind of there were three arguments that I wish I had thrown at him. The first is that, like, hey Jimmy, look, you think that this revolution is the way to go, and that this is going to be so
how would you go about it? Is what I would ask.
Well, okay, that would have been a good thing to ask him as well.
Sure.
Because actually, I did want to get to that eventually. Hold that thought, and we'll get back to that. Okay. But the first thing was, Jimmy, you predicted that a Trump win would be essentially a cakewalk for the Democrats, that Trump would be able to get absolutely nothing meaningful done. And he's gotten these tax cuts. He's, the SCOTUS judges. As far as the SCOTUS judges goes, he literally said that he thought that for 4 years the Democrats would be able to filibuster all of the Democratic.
Oh my God!
Yeah. All the SCOTUS nominations.
That's too much confidence in the Democrats, honestly.
Well, it's not just that. It's like they lost the ability to filibuster. There's no filibuster now. Yeah, you're totally right. Like I don't understand why, like someone who correctly has criticized the Democrats for being so weak for so long would suddenly think that the Democrats are going to be like that. Just like he was in a fucking fantasy world, and that's my problem with Jimmy. Like I think that there's a lot of admirable qualities about him, but yet at the same time he has I think this idealistic attitude that is it's something that you normally see. I think that's kind of where my head would have been at when I was 16 years old.
It's great to imagine a world where we could have this great big revolution and make all these sweeping changes within a few years and fucking get someone really nice and competent in office.
Sure.
And fucking
it's not gonna happen. I mean,
that's the thing. It's a fantasy world. That's the thing.
The thing is, the more you tell me about this guy, the more it sounds like there's a sense of him being naive and overestimating the power of the people.
None
of this shit is gonna happen. Also, it just isn't gonna happen.
And kind of expanding on that, this as far as the DP audience goes, it's again, I feel like these people are so what you were talking about before about all that matters is just being loud and charismatic and
true.
It's so fucking true, because I know that audience, and I know I'm not saying that I think Antifa is awesome or anything. They can be fucking clowns, but I don't have the problem that I know 99% of DP watchers, or at least the people who write in the comments do. These are people who by and large fucking detest Antifa. And so what the fuck do they think this revolution is going to be like? I mean, certainly.
Here's the great thing about that, Vadim. Because Jimmy obscured any details, he gets to let people fill in the blanks themselves. Kind of like how religious people don't tell many details about what heaven's like, because they want people to fill in the details themselves.
See, the thing is, when it comes to the opposition, there's a lot of information there. This is why this is bad. But when it comes to their point of view, you're meant to fill in the blanks and just assume the best shit that you can imagine.
Exactly.
So the same thing applies to politics. I mean, it's no fucking different. The only thing you have different is the only difference you have is the removal of superstition, and that's really it.
Yeah, if we had this revolution that he's talking about, it would involve it would be what Antifa is now times 20.
A lot.
You know,
a lot.
Yes, times 20,000. I don't know. And the, you know, the fucking right wing would exploit that, and then the anti-SJWs would have a fucking field day, and those people who were cheering on Jimmy would fucking they'd have none of it. They'd have none of it. And you know, I mean, really, like maybe 2 or 3 of them would be okay with it, but
this is awesome. I love it.
Of them would just be like, fuck this, you know, and it would totally, and then, you know, it's totally impractical because as I believe I said, it would split the Democratic vote. You know, you'd get like way more people than voted for Jill Stein and voted for Ralph Nader voting for this third party, but you know, then there would be a good deal of people who are voting for regular Democrats, and then just it's just handing the fuck. It's just a recipe for fucking defeat. And so that's the second thing that I wish I had said, which was just like, Jimmy, come on, Earth to Dore, you know, come back to planet reality here. You know, your head is in the fucking clouds, and just kind of really hammered that home a little bit more. And then I don't know. I mean, like, again, when it comes to mentioning like these predictions that he made that were completely untrue. I mean, another thing that he said was that if he said that the Republicans were going to be totally against Trump the entire time, and he also said that if he got anything meaningful passed, that people would start kind of like, you know, congregating in the streets and there'd be riots. And arguably, maybe there's been a little bit of that, but certainly nothing that has prevented his what he wants to get done. The reason why he hasn't gotten things done has just been because he's actually like had some unconstitutional shit that he's proposed that, like, you know, that's the judges have opposed.
Something new every week. Yeah. I just want to say this real quick. We're probably gonna try and wrap up the Jimmy Dore. You can talk about it a little bit more.
I think I hit most of the points that I wanted to hit. So
all right, cool. I was just gonna say, like, whenever you're done talking about what you want to talk about, we should probably watch at least a few videos and check out some shit for today. Oh shit, some donations. Thank you for your bits. Thank you very much. But yeah, that was quite an interesting discussion.
Yeah. I mean, overall, I like it was just funny to me because, like, if you really look at it, I was pretty chill the entire time, and like I don't know. I just it was weird to me. Like it was really halfway through that I realized, like, oh my God, this is like being perceived as this huge knockdown blowout, like, you know, the argument, and even DP, like, I mean, I guess, you know, they're going to sensationalize it to get clicks, which is fine. They put it as like Vadim Newquist clashes with Jimmy Dore, and it's just sort of like, I would have been fine with us just kind of like, you know, very casually kind of talking about these things. And if he had conversationally like talked at the same way that I did, it just would not have been perceived the way that it did. And that's actually the last thing that I wish that I had done over the course of that discussion, is just say, like, hey dude, calm down. Like there's no reason like to like take it down a notch. Cause, like, you know, at the end of the day, even though that he and I massively disagree on how to get there, it's sort of like we believe in the same policies, we believe in the same politicians for the most part. You know, because I'm not a huge Hillary fan, and it's just funny to me that all these DP people who have seen me many times and just always call me like a crazy lefty
Such irony, isn't it? I know.
All of a sudden, I'm like, like practically like fucking, like a Hillary Clinton shill that I got called
Pokemon
that.
go to the polls.
What?
Sorry, go ahead.
Pokemon go to the polls.
That?
It was Hillary's.
Go to the polls.
You remember that classic?
Right.
That one line lost Hillary the whole election, Vadim. You know it's true.
Oh well, it definitely didn't help. Put her in good
I would
stead.
say the corruption did, but sorry, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, there was a lot that I mean, really, if you look at the voting, it was really just about 44,000 votes in one district that kind of that lost her the election. And I would, even though that there were copious problems with her as a candidate, I would be people always kind of say that it was her fault. It was somewhat her fault. She was not a good candidate. Anyone who would lose to Trump I would say is not a good candidate. But I put the majority of the blame on the people who fucking voted for Trump and the people who didn't vote, period. So
see, I blame more than anything else the DNC. I don't really blame Hillary personally. I blame the DNC for pushing her like they did.
I blame the people in charge who have more of a say than the average voter does.
Well, I think what the DNC did was absolutely unethical, but at the same time, there's still a very good chance she would have won without their help. A very, very, very good chance. She won by a pretty large plurality of votes. The two things that they did that really that were somewhat of an advantage was they gave her like advance notice of some of the questions, and they also did this thing where they just wouldn't schedule enough debates, and they scheduled them at times that just were times that people were unlikely to tune in. So those two things suck that they did that, and they undoubtedly had a bias towards her, but did that alone win her the nomination? I don't think so. And I don't say that again, like I was a Bernie guy, okay? I'm still a Bernie guy, and I wish Bernie got it. But Bernie, like, you got to remember, like, barely anyone knew who the fuck he was at the beginning of that election cycle. And it was a pretty amazing leap that he made in terms of, noticeability and or just
such a shame that they didn't capitalize on that, though.
Yeah.
But
he's still out there. He's still kind of making a difference, while
yeah, but he royally fucked up when he backed down like that. Because I mean, like, that's not a leadership kind of thing to do. When you back away and pave the road for somebody else, you've basically surrendered any chance you have at a position like being the president of the U.S.
He lost a lot of people. He lost a lot of people in the center that would have voted for him. Because
when he told people to vote for Hillary Clinton?
Yeah.
Oh, I disagree. I mean,
how so? Please explain.
Because what are his options? He's going to tell people to vote for Trump? To
no, how about like standing his ground and saying, like, I'm not going to back down and pave the way for somebody else. I'm going to stand by my principles and go through this election whether I win or not, because I believe in what I believe in.
Yeah, I will make this argument though.
That gets into Jimmy Dore territory. He would not have had the he would not have had the promotion of any newspapers, any like major pundits outside of maybe people on YouTube. He would not have gotten much of a vote. He would have split the vote. People would have hated him.
And he would have been blamed for
losing the election.
He's still blamed. He's still blamed though, merely for just being in that election race, just for existing within that.
True, and that's really silly. I actually think that. What's funny is that his presence did it did end up pushing Hillary a little bit more left than she
a little bit
with her rhetoric.
Yeah, but she kind of compensated. Stronger together. But
what's really funny is that it pushed in terms of rhetoric, not in terms of like anything that was truthful. It pushed Trump very much to the left. Like I would say that Trump won in at least partially. I mean, really, he won because he played the Southern strategy and kind of played on people's fears.
Sure.
But another way that he won was that he adopted a lot of Bernie's talking points, which in a very insincere way. And I kind of thought, like, you know, to those people who bought it, I was like, how the fuck can you believe it coming from?
Yeah, how are you gonna? How is a middle class white working man supposed to relate to Donald Trump, who's a New Yorker, a Northern boy who has never had to work a day in his life?
Okay, here's how. I'd like to have a beer with him because that's like something I saw.
Yeah. Oh my god, dude, you're totally right. That's what they almost always say. Oh, I'd like to have a beer.
I would rather have a beer with. I mean, that's what they said about George Bush and George Bush. Like, even though that, I mean, like he's a piece of shit.
Before Trump, I mean, he was our most hated president.
He's more kind of like a useful idiot to me because I think that it was really Cheney that was pulling the strings with that administration.
You're right.
But I would much rather, like I could actually see if I could somehow divorce how much he mangled the country by starting that war. I could if there was some way to divorce him, like if he just was some guy who like did not have that history, and Trump was just some guy who did not become president, I would way rather have a beer with George Bush than Donald Trump. Donald Trump has always kind of seemed like a cocksucker to me.
Yeah, like how about this? How about like we elect people who seem competent for that kind of role, not people we want to have a beer with.
Yeah, Trump wouldn't have a beer with you. He might like offer you some money to use you as a footstool, but I don't think he'd, spend time with.
Trump has no respect for anyone who
except for himself.
Famous or super rich or he likes you as far as he can exploit you, basically, and for his own purposes. And so anyhow, I'd be up for watching some videos.
All right,
I think we'll get into it. All right, so this is a new segment called Conspiracy Kooks.
Well, I thought that was a fantastic video.
Oh, shit. What the fuck is this? What the fuck is this?
Run the world. They're extra. They are not what they claim to be.
Holy shit. Oh, it's the bitch on Pharisee.
You like it?
Yeah, I love it. I fucking love it. I knew it was gonna be as great. I knew it'd be great.
I thought about sending it to you, but I was like, no, I'll just premiere it. Fuck it.
Yeah. I was gonna ask about that, but I was like, you know what? I just want to see it when we're live on the show. So.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so we have some options. I'll give you two options, and you can pick which one. They're both by Sage, our buddy.
Oh yeah.
The first one's called Mandela Effect Coffee Talk. Okay.
Okay.
And then the second one is called Survival in a Can 12-year-old sardine can survival tin review.
Do you have any preference?
The sardine one is so weird sounding that
Okay, we'll do that one.
We'll dive right to a sardine.
Sage Wanderer here, and welcome to my van down by the river.
Thank you.
River's over there.
Thank you.
So, I mentioned, and in my bug out bag video, I had showed this little...
I'm sorry?
Yeah.
Was he making a Chris Farley reference there?
I don't know.
Maybe I'm too young for that. Sorry.
Yeah, me too. Sorry.
Chris Farley had this character that was like a really pathetic, struggling salesman, and he always introduced him. He always said something about living in a van by the river.
Oh no, this guy actually makes videos in his van by the river, so he's not joking about it.
Yeah.
I mean,
sardine can survival kit. Now, this isn't something I probably would have bought for myself. I tend to make my own pocket survival kits, but my
you know, it's just something he does on his spare time.
Like Mom used to make.
Yeah, yeah.
For me, and I bet they bought this for me 10 or 12 years ago. So this thing has been in my pack or in my pocket, and you know, I did find it useful that if I was going somewhere.
Dude, imagine just keeping a tin can like full of fucking tuna in your pocket just in case, like the apocalypse happens while you're out on a walk.
Any day now, any day. Like, after like a couple of years, I would have reflected on that and been like, you know what, maybe I'll just eat it now.
Yeah, you know what I keep in my phone? I mean, you know what I keep in my fucking pocket? My phone, my wallet, shit like that. Not a tuna.
I don't think that there's actual sardines in there. I think that there's like, I think it's just a sardine can, and there's various like tools that will help you.
Oh yeah.
Oh, maybe
like antibiotic, ointment,
this is.
Alcohol prep, sugar, water.
Yeah,
something like.
Probably so, like a pocket knife and some matches, and anyway,
I'm sure we'll see.
A big bulky thing. I could just throw this in my coat pocket, and I knew I had something. I had something to start with. Now, what did I have to start with? There's a list. If you wanted to zoom in there, you could have saw the list, and I could read the list to you. But let's just open it and get surprised together.
Oh my God! It's unboxing basically. So we're watching Sage Wanderer do an unboxing.
For Whistle Creek, WhistleCreek.com, out of Estes Park, Colorado.
I'm gonna skip ahead to like the point where he opens it up. So
all right. Oh shit! Spoiler alert.
Okay. So, first things first. There's a bit of metal here. With the proper tool, I could fashion some of this into fish hooks. This I could make into fish hooks.
Nice observation.
Pretty easy with just a basic pair of pliers.
You can use metal to make shit? Holy shit, I'd never believe. Damn.
If I had something like a Leatherman in my pocket.
You know what? No, SWEGTA, we're just young and ignorant.
I wanted to sacrifice a little of my sharpness of my blade. But depends on how hungry I was and what else is in here. But just this piece of trash alone is useful in the wild. I could make a frog gig out of this metal.
What?
You know,
a frog? What?
You could do with this.
Frog? What?
Once again, it's not about what you have; it's what you know, and I could do something with that alone. All right, so.
Oh my God.
Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take out the packaging.
Okay.
Now, first thing I notice is we have a little plastic bag here. And
but no tuna.
I'm going to open this up. Now, this is not very big. But
dude, I'd be pissed if I bought this and there wasn't any fucking tuna.
The thing is big. It's a sardine can.
Yeah, seriously.
Water, and I'm sure it does. You could use this tin to boil water in over a fire. Ooh, I smell cinnamon gum.
Okay, I think we'll skip this.
Oh my God!
Yeah, it's a little. I don't know. It's not as conspiracy kookish as Zion.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll pick it up a notch. I'll just.
All right. What the fuck? No.
Yeah.
No. No!
We're in Zone 29 in the Alaska Triangle. We're going about 30-40 miles in, way off the grid. We're going after the huge Bigfoot called the Siberian Giant. Legend has it the Siberian Giant crossed over the Bering Land Bridge over 10,000 years ago from Siberia into the
Yeah, come on, Vadim.
And it's still there to this day.
Yeah. It's been alive the whole time.
Now Noah's Alaska.
Same thing, Brett. Oh, I can't see.
Is this guy gonna pass out?
No, it's way better than that.
Oh,
this is like TV, right? This isn't YouTube.
Yeah, this is
real television.
well, I found it on YouTube, but it's from like a television
it's a TV show. Yeah.
I think actually they show some of this, not this show, but like some shit similar to this on Animal Planet and Discovery. Like
wasn't the last one that we showed from Animal Planet or something, or was that Discovery?
I think so.
I don't know. Yeah.
Do you see anything?
Oh shit! It must be.
Did you hear that again?
Fuck! Maybe it's the Loch Ness Monster.
Right over that way, Fizz. I got it. It sounded real big.
I like how he just aims the fucking gun at the cameraman.
Watch that.
Yeah, I like how that guy with the big ass beard looks like the quintessential like conspiracy theorist that you'd find like on the.
Also, let's say that they did find this Bigfoot and they fucking killed it. Like that would be so inhumane, killing this like lost creature that probably has a population of like 2 or 3 in the world. Like,
yeah, what the fuck?
I mean, like if they had what do you call it? Not tasers, but
darts or something like that.
Yeah,
make it pass out.
There's another word for it. But yeah, if they had something that would anesthetize the thing, then that would be one thing. But they're all carrying fucking like
rifles,
shotguns that would just blow the shit out of it. There's nothing that like that's just moronic.
If they shot that thing,
even if you think it exists, you just like put some fucking cameras up, get it on video, and that's it. Like, don't fuck with it.
Right. I understand that they don't want like if they believe this thing exists, and there are insane people for thinking it does. But you know, I could understand protect yourself. Maybe having one guy with a gun just in case the thing goes loco. But they all have fucking guns, and
because they all want to be that one guy who shot the Sasquatch. That's what they want to be. That's what they want their legacy to be.
Okay, like anytime you see a group of fucking guys with guns showing up at some place, like there's no civil intent at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, they intend to fucking like kill this thing.
Here's my concern too. Half the people on this squad here look like they could be Sasquatch to me, so one of these guys might end up getting shot. You know,
these guys are like Dork Dynasty.
Dork Dynasty. Yeah, I made that joke about the last time that these types of guys were on the show. It's like they're just trying to get their own Duck Dynasty style show, but with Bigfoot or something like that.
Where the hell's that thermal? I got it.
Oh shit, this is epic.
I like how he held that gun. Like, I still have my fucking finger on the trigger, but I'm gonna point it sideways, like at my friends, and hold like. God damn it.
Smart, very smart.
Seriously, if you watch this and you're over the age of 13, maybe even over the age of 12, and you think this is real, you've just failed at life. You've just, like honestly, like
I bet Trump believes it. I bet Trump believes in Bigfoot.
I've seen it.
I've seen it myself. He's got a huge foot, the greatest.
You would not believe how big this Bigfoot was.
Tremendous.
Yeah. Oh man. Oh shit, is that Bigfoot?
I don't see a damn thing.
Yeah.
No shit.
I agree.
Yeah.
There's too many trees. I think that sucker's gone. He might have been just trying to get a reaction out of us, see what we'd do. All right, guys.
Okay.
I think that sounds like the Bigfoot Sage Wanderer.
We'll get out there in the morning as soon as it gets light. See what
you can't just fucking go to sleep right now. You were just like supposedly attacked. What the fuck?
Yeah. Well, I think it's time for us to set up.
Yeah, it's getting kind of late, boys. Come on.
Like metal jewelry in his beard. Like what? Yeah. What is that? What is that thing?
Yeah. What the fuck is that? It's his anti-Bigfoot repellent necklace or something like that.
Camps that are occupied.
Guys, like
there is no doubt there was some sort of large.
He is.
We're gonna be.
Thank you for the bits.
We're dealing with a dangerous creature that doesn't play games.
And that's it. That's the whole video.
That's it.
Right.
That's how it ends.
Yep.
Oh man, what an impactful. Man, that changed my life forever.
Here's what happens. They hear a noise. They run around like retards with guns, and then they're like, "It's getting kind of late, guys. Let's get some sleep."
Dude, I've never heard a noise out in the woods before, ever. Like,
yeah,
ever.
It's almost like, you know, there's like a very active ecosystem in the woods.
No, man.
Like it's full of life. There are things that live in there.
What do you mean? Only humans go in there when they're looking for Bigfoot.
Yeah. It's kind of like the Sage video where like he talked about Bigfoot. It's like, I heard some noise in the woods. It's like, what else?
Yeah, that noise. There's no way that like I mean, that I guess there could have been a mountain lion there, but that just sounds like such stock sound footage of a mountain lion. Like mountain lions don't let, like every now and then they'll go like, ah! You know, like, whatever the fuck it was doing there. But that's like rare, you know. That was stock mountain lion sound footage, sound.
Most definitely,
right there. Yeah,
it's crazy that all these major networks.
It's pretty obvious.
It's crazy that all these major networks push these types of shows too. Like, pretty much every stupid, TV channel has had like their equivalent to this type of conspiracy myth hunter shit before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well,
that or it's like Ghost Adventures,
Ghost Hunter shows.
Yeah.
And every single episode of those shows is the same. They just go somewhere and they just get like they go somewhere dark and they're just like, oh, what was that? And
hey guys, if you listen to this voice clip very clearly, then you can hear this.
There's always like a fucking audio clip that can easily be fake, like on Audacity or some shit. Like we went into this place, we hit record and like let it record for like 5 days, and then we found like this one thing.
And they have all this equipment that like you don't know what the fuck it is, and they'll say like, you know, the retro spectrometer just
exactly
retrospectometer
and then you know the one thing like that you like if you watch every single episode of every single one of those shows, the one episode that you'll never find is the episode where they like find any like real evidence for ghosts.
That's true.
Like that always episode just does not exist.
It's always just like this tiny like little like shred of something that they try to pass off as evidence, and that's they try and get away with doing that every episode, and that's the entire series. It's just them being like, oh look, we caught a strange anomaly on the thermocam or something like that. Like, look at that, there's some heat here where there shouldn't be. It's like, you know, there could be any reason why there would be that type of anomaly.
There was like a puff cloud of heat coming out of my ass. Must have been a ghost.
It could be a fucking fly or any fuck SWEGTA. But they say that type of shit all the time, man. It's ridiculous. Yeah. And people buy into it a lot.
People also buy into gravity being fake.
Oh no,
guys, Hans Wormhat. This is a video on why gravity.
Video by Hans.
Gravity makes no sense. Hans. So part one, most people just don't even understand what gravity is, and when you tell them that you don't believe in gravity, they're like, "What? So you don't even think that things fall to the ground?" That's like that's where their brain
goes up and down goes. It's like, no. When I hear this type of conspiracy shit, no, I don't necessarily think that. I think that it's just a bunch of people trying to look for shit where it doesn't exist. People just trying to defy what science says just for the sake of doing it. That's what a lot of these people do. They just want to prove gravity wrong so that they can say that they're the ones that proved it wrong. They don't have any reason to actually think that it's wrong, other than
well, you know, the reason why they're to this is because this person is, I guarantee you, a flat earther. And,
definitely.
And you know, like if you actually kind of, I don't know, apply gravitational theory to certain claims that flat earthers make, then it just kind of like decimates them. So in order to like really be a like full-fledged flat earther, you kind of have it goes with it, you know. You have to kind of dispute gravity as well. So that's why this person is making this point.
Once you go here though, and you're like when you're trying to justify things upon justifying things, you're going down the rabbit hole, and eventually like everything in reality starts to be something that you question, and that's the extent of these people go to. Like everything should be.
Well, see, I actually have like a theory about flat earthers in general and why there's been a resurgence of flat eartherism.
Sure, why?
I think it's actually I think it's the fact, okay, with you know, with YouTube and with the internet in general, it's kind of sparked all these debates between creationists and just people who know what the science is, right? Yep. And so I think that what's happening is that, you know, you have these religious people who are, you know, they're challenged on these very fundamental like scientific claims that really decimate their worldview. And so in order to kind of deal with that, the best way to like for those who don't believe in you know, like fucking evolution and whatnot,
yeah,
like I think that it's the best way to deal with it is to just say like, okay, well, all science is bullshit.
Exactly. That's where they go with it.
Yeah.
And I think that that's really kind of why we're seeing what we're seeing with flat eartherism and then other certain other conspiracy theories that are just wacko, that really just people believe because I think it's an extension of their bullshit religion. But anyway, go on.
Yeah, they want to believe that.
You see, like, a lot of commonalities in these kind of people. Like, something I guarantee you, like, there's somewhere, like, in his name or channel description or you know, profile pic, there's got to be, like, truth or exposed or some shit like that.
Oh, yeah, you know what? Yeah. I'm going to double check this, because I just want to make sure, because you're probably right.
Go ahead. Well, meanwhile, we'll see what he has to say.
We'll listen to it a bit.
So, the very first step to understanding that gravity makes no sense is that you have to actually understand what gravity is. And most people don't even make it to that step. People think that gravity is the fact that things fall down, which is just not true. That's not what gravity is.
Okay, that's true. That isn't necessarily what gravity is. Yeah,
that's like a really dumbed down version of the definition of gravity.
I'm sure it's the only one
gravity
he knows,
is the unproven theory that mass attracts other mass. If you can ingrain that into your brain, you're step one on your way to understanding that gravity's bullcrap.
Oh so man, I'm finally gonna be as smart as this guy, SWEGTA. I can't wait. Let's open up our minds.
But I mean, like, he's talking about unproven theory. That's an oxymoron.
By the way, I just want to say this, just for the sake of argumentation. This is the same guy who thinks that gorillas are people in costumes.
Is this the same fucking guy?
Yeah, it's the same guy. It's the same dude.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they're one and the same, man. Fucking crazy.
I mean, god damn it.
Where do you even go after
far be it from me to dismiss somebody based on their character, but what the fuck? Like, how can I take anything seriously coming from this guy? Like, gorillas are actually trans women dressed up in Halloween costumes, and gravity is unproven, and flat Earth, and it's like, oh my god, you have like an endless list of bullshit. It's like a machine that just cranks out horseshit on demand.
Yep.
How the
been proven, unless you believe the bonehead scientists. We'll look at the Cavendish experiment later. So science should be able to be proven independently. You and I should be able to prove gravity. This is 2017. Why can't you and I prove gravity? We can't, because it's probably made up bullcrap.
You should really submit this to like a science journal. This is,
send this to like Neil deGrasse Tyson. Like, what do you think about this, Neil?
Okay, so the name of the channel is Conspiracies by Hans 4.
4?
So, yeah, I guess there's been 3 more before this one, but yeah, Conspiracies
no, he's
by
actually
Hans.
referring to like his brain cell count. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
What is the view count of this?
For this one, let me check real fast. This one might be a bit older. On average, he only gets about like 500 views on videos. He has like 1,000 subscribers though, which is funny to me. 1,000 people. That means 1,000 people clicked on his shit and was like, "Yep, I want to see more of this."
I want more of this.
Yep.
Well, you know,
okay, so
flat earthers are pretty dedicated. Like they're
pretty tight knit.
Search out this shit, and so he probably just has a lot of people who just clicked on the video and immediately subscribed.
Yeah, you're true. You're right.
So why does it? Let's go to the apple falling to the ground. And,
no,
you know, apple was an interesting choice of fruit.
I like this guy better when he didn't talk.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Why does an apple fall to the ground? So NASA. This is NASA's answer.
No, actually, no. NASA did not come up with the theory of gravity.
Wait, did he really? Oh my.
Yeah, that's what I mean, though. Like, it's like NASA, CNN, it's all the same. They're just lying. It's like some
He's
of them
claiming,
are actually like focused on fact, you know.
He's claiming other people are ignorant when he doesn't even know who put together. Like, so many people know where the fucking theory of gravity came from. Like, it's pretty basic fucking knowledge. Most people learn that in middle school.
Fucking Isaac Newton founded NASA on his own.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
The Earth is attracting the mass of the apple.
I didn't know that until Vaughn Helton.
It actually goes both ways. So not only is the mass of the Earth attracting the mass of the apple, but the mass of the apple is attracting the mass of the Earth.
No, it's not.
And that is why
No. That's not it.
That's a complete butchering of the actual...
I mean, like, can you fucking, like, God, it's like, you... Right off the bat, the definition of gravity is missing when he attempts to define it.
This guy's trying to teach us... Seriously?
I fucking quote, and I quote, probably some made-up bullcrap. That's like his definition, and I'm meant to take this seriously and be like, let me consider this point of view.
No, I believe it. It totally makes sense to me, man. What? Come on, like... Honestly, let's be honest with yourself, SWEGTA. Come on. Like, have you ever seen a Vaughn Helton video? He talks about the truth like this all the fucking time. Man, I just need to fucking... I need to give you like 12 Vaughn Helton videos to watch every single Underhaven so you can finally get it through your head about what it really means to be a critical thinker.
This is painful. I think we're gonna wrap things up with one final video. We'll do Vaughn Helton. It's not a long video, so it'll be fine. It'll be like pulling off a band-aid. It's gonna be painful but quick.
All right.
Anyways, just wanted to give you the results on that and refresh your memory about George Washington's prophecy, because I believe Garrett Wilder's loss was to be expected.
Buckle down.
I believe that Europe must fall to Islam in order for the
any day now.
Any day now, Bob.
It obviously can't come to pass if Europe is still Islam free. So
what?
That's what I'm thinking.
I don't think I've ever heard anyone who practiced witchcraft who was I don't know, anti-Islam. I mean, not that the show, but it's just so funny that there's so many Christians who would call him satanic and would have just a huge problem with his, I don't know, what is he, Wiccan?
He's a pagan. He's a
pagan. And just, I don't know, it's hysterical. That's just, I've never seen anyone like this in existence.
He's best buddies with Brett Keane too, who probably
I heard that on they told me that on DP once.
Yeah, this guy has quickly become like our version of Brett Keane, where we just have to tear into him all the fucking time because it's just so easy to do. Like, literally the easiest thing that I do on this show, and I'm sure SWEGTA would agree, is making fun of Vaughn Helton.
He looks like a slightly older redneck Bill Maher to me.
Yeah. Everyone compares him to Bill Maher.
I've always said that he kind of looks like Bill Maher with Down syndrome. That's my point of view on that, but I don't know.
A bit.
Just a smidgen. Just a tad bit.
Because, I mean, think about it. Why else would the whole world come against us? Especially
these days, he makes me laugh
Trump
more than Bill Maher.
And everybody's screaming about the Muslim ban, Everybody's screaming about the Muslim ban, how horrible it is. Well, now, wait a minute. It's been almost 300 years, 200 and something.
This is a lot to unpack.
Since you brushed your teeth, or what?
Since you washed Egghead's tub?
Almost 300 years. And if we can't figure...
I think the man has dentures, but he does.
He doesn't.
He looks like he permanently has no dent. I'm sure he has something in his mouth that resembles.
He thinks that teeth are a fetish, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, weird. Yeah, but he looks like he has no dentures in his mouth, even though that I'm sure he does. Anyway, go on.
I'm pretty sure he does have dentures, but he always talks about how they don't fit, so I don't think he actually wears them. He's actually gone on record saying that he likes not having teeth because it's really easy for him it's really easy for him to eat, even though he doesn't have teeth, apparently, because he's talked about gumming down a steak before with Brett Keegan. Yeah. Can you imagine this guy? Yeah. Look at Vadim. Oh my god, I'm so sorry I said that to you. Yeah, no, it's true though. It's true. This guy
so
gums
gross.
steaks.
I don't know. Like,
yeah, man.
Give your meat a good old rub.
Good old gum.
Good old gumming.
Out what the hell an American is within 300 years. We need therapy, right?
I need a drink.
I mean, we pretty much established what an American is. And so I really don't think we need any immigration at all. None. We don't need no damn immigration. What we need is start having children. Hello? That's what we need to have.
Oh, yeah, it's not because the world has an overpopulation issue, right?
I think 7 billion is, like, good enough. Like,
More
even
than
outside
enough.
of the U.S., like, yeah, the overall population, I think we're good. I think we're set.
Yeah.
Instead of replacing it, see, what the elites and even some of our government want to do is they want to replace us Americans with a bunch of third world country people. Why? Because the third world country people don't know who Rockefeller is. They don't know who Rothschild is. They don't understand government. They don't understand what a republic is versus a democracy.
I think a lot of them fleeing from places that don't have democracy know a little bit about
that's pretty much why they're coming here, dude, to have that, you know, to live in a democratic society.
They don't know what it's like to be fucked over by the government. It's like,
oh, yeah.
What?
Nope. All those Mexicans, they've never been fucked over by the government before. They probably don't even know what a government is, right?
Don't even know what a democracy is. They're coming from socialism, and some of them are even coming from flat-out communism. And so they have no
socialist countries are people immigrating from? Name
Norway. A total wasteland. It's like Fallout.
Yep. Norwegians shouldn't even have any issues coming here, so that's really funny.
And nor do they care.
Ban Bjorn.
So yes, the elites want to replace us here in America with these third world people that don't know what's going on.
Okay, they're not doing a good job at it because they've actually been.
He used to.
Yeah.
Because it's like, what the fuck is he doing with a woman's purse? Is that a? It looks like a purse.
Wait! Oh my god!
It kind of looks like he's got the Chris Chan sweater in the closet.
Yeah, it does. It really does. Holy shit. Yeah, here's the thing. Yeah. How does it feel? How does it feel, Vadim, that this guy's fucked before? Like, this guy's fucked and procreated, I think, twice. That's
and he made that face while coming, too.
Yeah. That smug-ass face.
How does it feel? I don't know. Not good that this man has progeny.
Yeah. I wish this guy's bloodline would have ended a long time ago, but unfortunately. Oh, by the way, one thing I should mention since we're talking about Vaughn Helton's bloodline, I just love to say this whenever someone new is on the show. He believes that he is the descendant of Vladimir the Impaler.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
That's why part of his teeth story.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Yeah, I had like the vampire teeth, and you know, my mom's like, you got to get that removed, Vaughn, or whatever.
Yeah, get rid of those gums. I mean, there's. Yeah.
Yeah, but then you know when they removed those two like sets of teeth, all of the other teeth just like collapsed because there was like no weight to hold them in place.
Yeah.
There's like some convoluted bullshit explanation for like why he had to have them all removed at once.
It changes all the time, too. I've heard multiple accounts of why he lost his teeth, much like Brett Keane has multiple accounts of why.
But it makes no sense. Because, I mean, like, you know, you have, like, your fucking baby teeth, and then you lose those, and you have other teeth come in to, like, replace them. If your teeth just, like, collapsed without the support of, like, them all being in place, you would have none by the age of, like, 20.
Yep, it's true. Well, no, that's how it worked. That's how it worked for Vaughn Helton, though, right? How does everyone else in the world have teeth past 20? You know, black magic,
proper
obviously. The Roth
hygiene.
children. No, the Roth children, you know, shit like that. Let's see, George Soros. Yes, George Soros is actually the reason why that.
Because they're easier to control. They're easier to manipulate. You know, they don't know who David Rockefeller is. They don't know who Evelyn de Rothschild is. They don't know who Andrew Carnegie is. They don't know.
I'm sure there's plenty of fucking white people and native-born Americans who don't know what the fuck you're talking about either.
Yeah.
But whatever. Yeah, it's all immigrants' fault.
Brain lock.
That's your entire life, buddy.
Please keep it that way.
With the bank.
Please.
J.P. Morgan Jr. They don't know who he is.
Oh, let me think of another rich guy, because I just need to throw in another example there to make my point even more clear. It's like, Vaughn, you bloviate about the same shit over and over and over again for minutes on end, and then you just circle around into the same shit over and over again.
Okay, let me just, like, explain the thought process behind this.
Okay.
So he's, like, you know, anti-mass immigration, which is, you know, whatever. As long as you have, like, valid reasoning, I'll fucking listen to what you have to say. But here's what he does. He's like, I'm gonna just take all of the conspiracy bullshit I believe in, inject that into my reasoning for why we have so many immigrants coming in now, and just, like, keep it that way. Like, that's why. Because they are uneducated about these theories that I buy into.
Yeah, I mean, isn't that a summary of how Vaughn Helton is in a nutshell? Like, the majority of these videos that we see are him spewing out some bullshit conspiracy nonsense, and it always ends up the same fucking way.
They don't care. These people are not even on their fucking radar, right?
Of course.
So they don't know. Now, I did see one video on YouTube that literally made me jump for joy.
A video on YouTube?
It was David Rockefeller flying into Chile.
Okay.
And when David Rockefeller got off the plane, there was a man with a camera and a microphone.
Oh, shit!
Screaming at David Rockefeller, "Go back home, we don't want you in Chile." That man was awake. That man was awake.
What does that have to do with anything?
I hope he's still alive. Dude, if you're still alive, contact me. But yeah, the video might even still be on YouTube. But yeah, he got right up in Vaughn's face. He said, "We don't want you here. Go back."
Fuck that. So he knew, if you're out there and you're alive, come on our fucking show instead. Fuck Vaughn Helton. Come talk to us. Underhaven will give you a better fucking experience than Vaughn will. Man, if you go on a live stream with Vaughn Helton, you'll be playing to an audience of maybe 4 or 5 fucking people. But if you actually want to have a chill time,
as opposed to our audience of like 10 people.
Yeah, we have like twice that much. So come on ours.
It's hysterical that he talks about the elites when
he's the opposite.
Just like, I mean, he thinks that he's so much better than these immigrants, you know,
and both of us too.
Pretty elitist.
He thinks he's better than everyone.
I mean, it's like
this sad husk of a man.
This is what the elite want. Meanwhile, you know, vote Trump. He's not part of that at all.
This sad husk of southern white trash in the trailer, in the backyard of his mother's trailer, thinks that he can tell us how the world fucking works and speak down to us. It's the most ridiculous sham I've ever heard in my entire fucking life. Which is why we talk about Vaughn Helton so much on this show, because he's the epitome of everything that I would never want to be in my life. No, I'm serious. If you want like encouragement, and if you want to feel good about yourself, watch a fucking Vaughn Helton video, and then do everything in your life opposite to him, and you will have success.
Yeah. I think you got it.
All right.
Rockefeller was. And it was Rockefeller, by the way, not Rothschild. It was Rockefeller. But he knew who he was. And he challenged him right then and there, face to face. So go back home.
I think this is what happens when you watch a Vaughn Helton video and don't get high before doing it. Jesus. You know, I think Vaughn's just gonna keep running in circles. I think we've heard most of what he has to say.
Yeah, I think I'll spare everybody the final 20 seconds of this video. So Vadim, thank you so much for being on. We appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
Sure, man.
All right, and you'll find a link. Oh shit, fuck this. You'll find a link to Creationist Cat and Vadim Newquist in the video info down below.
Yeah.
Yeah. With all that said, peace out.
Take it easy, guys.
In the damn morning, been too long since I woke myself up snoring. I've been up worrying myself into a mess while replaying a life with the memories I'd rather repress. You call it life, I call it stress. If your thoughts are yours, then they must be the best. I hate being talented, but every now and then I take the time to wonder if I wasn't born with it. Would I even have purpose? Every thought I have is scandalous. My brain is chaos and nobody can handle this. I see sound in fourth-dimensional shapes. Spend every day stuck in the planet of the apes. It's about facts, nah, it's about race. It's about gender, just ignore climate change. Abuse from my peers led to incurable rage. Now a crowded room feels a lot more like a cage. If somebody looks at me the wrong way, I think about it all day. Let that fester inside, boil in my mind. Even if your look was innocent and benign, I still wanna rip your fucking guts out. Chew them up with my mouth, shove a spike up yourself. Cut your body up and leave the bits around town. I'm the clown who came to town to write this on the wall upside down.